Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy, and you're reading with Jimmy. We're reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and we're analyzing Chapter 4, pages 46 to 47. Chapter 4 is titled The Rabbit Sends in a Little Bill. What's the word bill mean? We can talk about that. In any case, we left off with the rabbit. Oh, there's a typo there. You see the typo? Jimmy's typing too fast lately. Let's do this. Let's clear up that typo. We left off with the rabbit calling out, Marianne, Marianne, and asking for his gloves, right? So he's asking for his gloves, and he was outside calling in. Then came the little pattering of feet. Remember, Alice is all scrunched up. Alice is scrunched up in that little rabbit house, W. Rabbit's house, right? So Alice, the pattering on the stairs, and Alice knew that it was the rabbit coming to look for her. Who's her? Is that Marianne or is it Alice? We know, she's dual identity there, right? And she trembled till she shook the house. This is very important. She trembled until she shook the house. Why is she trembling? Why is she trembling? She's big now. She's much bigger than the rabbit. She was less than 4 inches tall when she met, the rabbit and her encountered in the last time she saw the rabbit. And now she's bigger than the rabbit, much bigger. She's filling the entire house, but she's trembling, quite forgetting she was now about 1,000 times as large as the rabbit. There's the narrator telling us this. So she forgot. How can you forget? How can you forget you're 1,000 times, larger than the rabbit? So she had no reason to be afraid of it. Remember I told you a couple of analyses ago that we're going to study fear in here. So fear is very important. There's no reason to be afraid. Alice has no reason to be afraid. She's just bigger. Have you ever thought about fear? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Think about that. Are you afraid of the dark? It's hard to say what fear is. What is fear? It means you don't know. You're afraid. Look it up. What is the definition of fear? And sometimes fear is so uncontrollable you start shaking, and that's what Alice was doing. She trembled. She was trembling, but she has no reason to be afraid. There's a saying, one of the American presidents in when World War II broke out, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. This is a very interesting concept. You should look it up sometimes. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. It's an interesting concept, fear. All right, let's continue. So, presently, the rabbit came to the door and he tried to open it, but the door opened inwards and Alice's elbow was against the door. The concept of inward and outward openings is very important in life. Some things open inwardly and some things open outwardly. And remember who wrote this is Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll wrote this, and the third person narrator, and Lewis Carroll was in fact a mathematician. So inward and outward things are very interesting. You can look outward or you can look inward. Remember, what is the concept that we're talking about with Alice? Who are you? Who are you? Who is Alice? Who am I? And so when you look at yourself, you can look inward, you're looking inward, or you can have people looking at you from outward looking in, or you can look outward at other people. Keep that in mind as we read, Alice. This is very important. Now, the rabbit can't get in. He cannot get in. Why? Because Alice's elbow is blocking the door. Don't forget how big she is. She heard the rabbit say, then I'm going to go around and get in at the window. Since he can't get in through the front door, he's going to go around into the window. And oftentimes, if at first you don't succeed, try again. The rabbit, obviously, this is his house. This is his house. And he wants to get in. That you won't, thought Alice. She doesn't say it out loud. Why doesn't she say it out loud? Because if she said it out loud, she'd scare the poop out of the rabbit, wouldn't she? Don't forget how big she is. Size, right? Size does matter. Point of view. Point of view is important. We're going to talk about that. So that won't do. She says to herself, and the rabbit just under the window suddenly spread out. She spread out her hand and she made a snatch in the air. She sticks out her hand outside that window and she snatches in the air. She didn't get a hold of anything, because if she did, I wonder what would have happened to the rabbit. But she heard a little shriek, shriek, and a fall and a crash of broken glass, from which she concluded that it was just possible it had fallen into a cucumber frame or something like that, something of that sort. This is at the top of the next page, and it's very important. I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about this. You see the word pronouns, it and it? What is the difference between those pronouns? What is the noun? What is the thing, name of person, place, or thing that's repeating? It was just possible it had fallen. It was just possible it had fallen. The second it, this one right here, right? That's the rabbit. That pronoun is replacing the rabbit. But that's not what this pronoun replaces, this it, which she concluded that it, the rabbit, was just possible the rabbit had fallen. That makes no sense, does it? So what is it? She concluded that it was just possible. What was possible? This whole thing of snatching, this it right here, is the whole concept of her hand going through the window, trying to grab something, having the rabbit shriek a little bit, fall and break the glass. That's what that pronoun replaces. All of those words, all of them. This is an enormous discovery about language. That a pronoun doesn't have to be just one thing, person, place, or thing. It could be a whole slew of things. It could be an idea. It could be a concept. And if you remember what the Archbishop of Canterbury was talking about when the duck says, I don't know what it means. You remember that in that chapter? And the duck said, I know what I mean when I use the word it. It's a worm or something that he eats. But the Archbishop of Canterbury, when he used the word it, was explaining everything about William the Conqueror in that section before we were talking about. This is very important, very rich. There's a richness to it. I bet you never even knew that a pronoun could be so rich, did you? And by the way, what's a cucumber frame? Anybody know what that is? Well, I defined it for you. This is a British, remember, this is England, right? A British cucumber frame is a large wooden box with a lid made of glass panes. Britain is not suitable for growing cucumbers, so the cucumber frame acts like a little greenhouse. It's generally hanging outside in the window. Why isn't, Britain suitable for growing cucumbers? Well, I don't know. I've never lived in Britain, but if they're telling me that that's the truth, maybe something what I read about my experience tells me it may rain a lot, which is not bad, but maybe it's cold a lot. I don't know. In any case, it's like a greenhouse, and that's important. So the rabbit obviously fell into one of these things and broke the glass. And then came an angry voice. Pat, Pat, where are you? And this is the new character. We never heard about Pat, but the rabbit is calling, Pat, Pat. And then a voice she never heard before says, sure, then I'm here digging for apples, Your Honor, Your Honor. C-Y-Y-E-R. You see that word, Y-E-R? What is that? That's Your Honor, Y-O-U-R. Should I type that out for you? It means Y-O-U-R. It means Y-O-U-R. Y-O-U-R. Your Honor. Your. Well, why do they spell it your? Because they're trying to convey through the English language an accent. If you've ever heard people from different parts of the country or different people who come to America and they come from a different country and speak English, sometimes you can detect an accent that they have. And in this case, digging for apples, Your Honor, Your Honor. There's a little accent there. Digging for apples, says the rabbit angrily. He's really angry. Why? Well, he He just fell into the cucumber frame. Here, come and help me out of this. Look at that beautiful this. This. Demonstrative pronoun. We don't want to get into that. Sounds of more broken glass. If you've ever broken glass and you start moving in the broken glass, you're breaking more glass or you're moving broken glass around. So the rabbit is in deep doo-doo, right? Now tell me, Pat, what's that in the window? Now the rabbit is looking through the window and he's asking Pat, whoever Pat is, and sure, it's an arm, Your Honor. He pronounced it arm, arm. Whose parentheses are those? Remember, every time you see parentheses, that's the narrator telling us in his own words, talking directly to us as a sidebar. He doesn't have to say this, but he's giving us clues, right? And one of the clues is, sure, it's an arm, Your Honor. An arm, you goose. He calls Pat a goose. Maybe Pat is a goose. Whoever saw an arm that size, why? It fills the whole window. And now suddenly they realize this is something going on here. The hand fills the entire window. Imagine the house you live in. Imagine someone in contortions in that house, and suddenly a hand comes out of your house, out of your window of your house, and it's a giant. And remember, this is a rabbit and whoever patted, these are small creatures, right? And it fills the whole window. Sure it does, Your Honor, but it's an arm for all that. It does fill the window, but Pat is saying, you bet it's an arm. And the rabbit, why? It's got no business there at any rate. Go and take it away. My house. Go and take it away. Get it out of there. So the rabbit, who obviously he's not courageous enough to try it himself, excuse me for laughing so much, tells Pat to go get the hand out of there. Now there's silence, and Alice can only hear whispers. She's listening. Now remember, close your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Listening. She can't see what's going on. She's so big. She can't look out the window because her head is crunched up, right? She can't see anything. This is an important concept. Try to close your eyes sometime and just listen. Wherever you are right now or after you're done listening to this audio, this analysis, close your eyes and just listen. Sometimes you're outside if you close your eyes and just listen. You can hear the birds if you're there, or you can hear the snow falling. I don't know about you, but I've heard snow falling. Yes, indeed. You can hear the snow falling. You can hear the wind. And sometimes when you're on a choo-choo train or a train, a commuter train, you can hear people talking over the wheels as they turn. Eyesight is a gift, but without eyesight, your sense of hearing can be that much more powerful. So she hears whispers now. Sure, I don't like it, Your Honor, at all. Do as I tell you, you coward. And at last she spread her hand out again and made another snatch into the air. She's listening to these things talk, and she's going to try to grab him again, but this time there were two shrieks. Shriek, shriek. And more broken glass. What a number of cucumber frames there must be, she thought. There's just a lot of cucumber frames out there. I wonder what they'll do next. As far as pulling me out of the window, I only wish they could. Oh, I sure don't want to stay here any longer. Think about that. She wants them to pull her out of the house. She can break through the house. What's going on here? Why doesn't she just break the house down? Yeah, there's a lot of theories about this. Books have been written about this. Maybe she has a respect for the house. I'm kidding. I don't know why she doesn't break through the house when she certainly can. In any case, she waits for some time and she doesn't hear anything. Silence. which, by the way, you can hear too. You can hear silence too. Think about it. At last came a rumbling of little cartwheels and the sound of a good many voices all talking together. They're all talking, right? Where's the other ladder? What? I haven't to bring one out. Bill's got the one. Bill, fetch it here, lad. Here, put them all in this corner. No, tie them together first. No, hey, they don't read. And we're going to stop there. So there's all these creatures now talking out loud. And finally, we meet a new character, Bill. Don't forget the title of the chapter. The rabbit sends in a little Bill. I have a suspicion that this is what that chapter title means. This Bill, whoever this Bill is. So thank you very much. This is the part of analysis of chapter 4 that we're going over, Reading with Jimmy. My email is jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com, jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com. Please send me an email. I'd be anxious to hear your thoughts about this and why, in fact, Ellis doesn't break through. I'm really curious what you think about that. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.